Akim Olufemi Gbajabiamila.
God bless you all. I think we've done well for today. I think we've addressed all the issues that you brought up. I think satisfactory.
Impending ASUU strike put on hold as House calls for a renegotiation of the 2009 agreement between ASUU and the federal government.
What is the quantum of medical bills settled by families for children in this country?
And lawmakers converse for free healthcare program for children. Many thanks for joining us on this fresh episode of House Ticket, a weekly education on the workings of the House of Representatives, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Discussions in plenary during the weekly review 16th to 18th November 2021 saw various people-oriented motions and bills, amongst which necessitated the prompt intervention of the people's representatives to avert another ASUU strike. This event, plus other deliberations on healthcare and national infrastructure, as well as diplomatic relationships, make up this package of the program. Do join us again after this time out for the full program.
If we set our minds right, embrace each other in love and brotherhood, we will come through these troubling times. We will survive, we will recover, and then we will thrive. One nation under God, free, peaceful, and prosperous.
Let us get a summary of plenary for the 3 days the lawmakers sat last week. Bills and motions were passed and adopted after deliberations by the lawmakers, one of which seeks to strengthen the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency to ensure free healthcare delivery to children. There were also bills passed at third reading. More funding for the education sector, amongst other people-oriented issues, were legislated upon. The report of these and other resolutions from plenary as compiled and presented from the studios.
Wednesday, the 17th of November 2021, a bill for an act to make healthcare service delivery free for all children in Nigeria and for related matters, sponsored by Representative Bello Kauje, scaled second reading.
The healthcare service shall include diagnosis, treatment, prevention of illness and other physical and mental impairment in children in Nigeria. The service shall be rendered by the government hospital, Mr. Speaker, in Nigeria. The service shall cover referral cases of children from other state, local government hospital, or any other private hospital in Nigeria.
There were contributions to the debate on the bill, citing financial implications, duplication of functions, amongst others.
What is the quantum of medical bills settled by families for children in this country? Do we have a corresponding provision in the budget that the Primary Healthcare Development Agency can be able to support these families in providing this free medical care? Mr. Speaker, we make the budget, we also make the laws. And if we do not have provisions in our budget that will support what we are trying to put into law, we will be helping in putting up laws that are unimplementable in our country.
Do you make provisions before you make the law? Or do you make a law, and once the law is in place, you now make provisions to fund it? I think it's the latter. It doesn't have to come with this budget. Once the law is in place now, next year's budget, they will know that, okay, now there's a law that says free healthcare delivery, then you fund it in the budget next year. There's no way to fund it. If it's not there now, there's no way. So we cannot be waiting for funding before the law. The law compels the funding.
If you recall, I was the House Committee Chairman on Health. National Primary Healthcare Development Agency in all local communities. Free delivery, free healthcare for children, they are doing it. And that is the essence why they are there. And annually we will budget money for this purpose. So passing this is like duplication.
What Congress is trying to do is to mandate by law that delivery must be free. That's all he's trying to do. Do we have anything that...
What he can do, instead of having a separate bill, is to amend the existing law and insert this if it does not exist.
The bill has been referred to the House Committee on Healthcare Services for further work.
Those against the saying it. The ayes have it.
Still on second reading of bills, the House also considered a bill for an act to amend the Tertiary Education Trust Fund Act 2011 to expressly provide that the National Youth Service Corps shall benefit from the fund, include licensed private polytechnics as beneficiaries of the fund, ensure that disbursement from the fund is available to monotechnics and other specialized tertiary institutions in Nigeria. The amendment bill also seeks to include federal institutes and colleges of forestry as beneficiaries of the fund. The bill was presented on the floor of the House on Tuesday, the 16th of November 2021 and is sponsored by the Deputy Chief Whip and 4 others. There was no debate on the bill. It has been referred to the House Committee on Tertiary Education and Services for more legislative work.
Bill for an act to provide for
bills that scaled third reading last week include the bill for an act to provide for the retirement age of teachers in Nigeria and for related matters. Moving on to motions adopted in the week in review, a matter of urgent public importance sponsored by Honorable Julius Ihovere spoke to the urgent need to stop the impending strike by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU.
Vice Chancellors have come here to defend their budgets and proposals on this revitalization already. They said the money is there to pay earned allowances, that is in the central bank. What is holding it between the federal government and the central bank, I do not know. So all I'm asking, dear colleagues, is let us beg the federal government to live up to expectation and implement an agreement is signed without duress. If they disrupt these universities again, the implications will be very far-reaching. And we can't continue like this. This is about the 10th strike from us.
All the issues that were raised borders on funding, borders on budgetary provisions. Luckily enough, we're in the process of passing the budget. Why shouldn't we take the bull by the horn? Having regard to the problem, and then deploy enough resources.
I think they're passing the buck between Minister of Finance, CBN, Minister of Education, or where the money is. It's a question of release, if I'm correct. Prof, is that correct?
The ASUU president and the Minister of State Education, the money is there in the central bank. Now release the money, that is where the problem is.
That's where the problem is.
The social amount of money being owed them now and also futuristic payment be provided now, sir. Otherwise, Mr. Speaker, will be part of destroying our education and then planning for the collapse of Nigeria. Because in alternative, I will amend, since we have intervention agencies, we order CBN or even an MPC to pay off the money. Since they are going to other areas now to do a lot of things.
The resolution on the motion urged the federal government to urgently take all necessary measures to open a realistic negotiation with ASUU to stop the strike and implement the signed agreement in the interest of students, parents, and the education sector and the country. The House Committee on Tertiary Education and Services have been mandated to investigate the serial breach of the agreements and report back within a week. Before the vote on the motion, the presiding officer spoke further on the matter.
I want the notice to go out today that the Minister of Finance, the Minister of Education, and the representative of ASUU will meet in my office on Thursday. Meet me in my office on Thursday at 2 p.m. so that we fast track this matter. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it.
Thursday, the 18th of November 2021, saw the House mediating between the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU, and the federal government over their demands, totaling 8 in number, even though ASUU agrees that some of the demands have been met up until October 2021. The union is, however, still worried over the non-implementation of some of the agreements reached between it and the government after the last strike, which was suspended this year.
We don't like strike. That's our last resort, and I will show you as we go along. After 4 years, to try to use all that to get the government to implement the agreement, it was not implemented until the union went on strike in 2013. Major issue then, which is the issue of this revitalization fund, it was agreed that the federal government will release 1.2 trillion naira to the educational sector over a period of 6 years. In 2020-21, we've had 2 meetings conciliated by the Minister of Labour and Employment. And for all due respect, in all of them, in all these meetings, I will give credit, he insisted our assignment were assigned to ministries and to individuals, but they were never implemented. So that is where we are.
The ministry will submit that letter today to the Ministry of Finance. They don't have that letter for that guidance yet. They have the money, but they don't have the guidance. So we are sure that from Monday, they will begin implementing. So there is really no issue on which we and ASUU do not see eye to eye. Everything is agreed, everything is worked out, everything is fine. We're only worried that, like you pointed out, Mr. Speaker, that the wielding of this strike matter, for our position in the ministry is that there is nothing that ASUU is saying that we do not agree with.
I want to appeal to ASUU to please not use this weapon or threat of strike, because it's not good for our children and it's not good for the nation. Let us just look at each of these issues and address them, because 1.3 trillion is a very large amount of money to raise. Even at 200 billion per annum is very large. We're really constrained now publicly. So we need to revisit that, and we need to look at what is practically possible to do, even though there was commitments from 2009, then 2013. But the situation physically now is not the same as it was at that time. So please, I want to appeal to the leadership of ASUU as citizens of this country to reconsider the issue of going for strike, and to commit the Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning to meet whatever funding requirement is agreed to be paid. As long as we have the resources to pay, we will pay.
The House was able to get a commitment from ASUU to hold off its planned strike and allow for a period of 1 week where the government, through the Ministries of Education and Finance, agreed to look into the implementation of 4 key areas, namely the release of the sum of 30 billion naira revitalization fund for the federal universities, 22 billion naira end academic allowance from the education sector budget, a renegotiation of the 2009 1.3 trillion naira agreement between the ASUU and the federal government, and the deployment of the proposed Alternative Payment University Transparency and Accountability Solution, UTAS, developed by ASUU as a preferred option to the federal government's Integrated Personnel and Payroll Information System, IPPIS.
The low-hanging fruits, let's deal with it, which we have dealt with, and we'll set up a tripartite committee. Now at least the House is involved, they'll be part of it. The Committee on Education will be part of it with you and the honorable ministers in the renegotiation. You can't even leave the House that has the power of appropriation out of such renegotiation anyway. So they will be part of it, and then we move forward. I think we've done well for today. I think we've addressed all the issues that you brought up, I think satisfactorily. And I think it will be, to say the least, it will be the best for ASUU. We've come to a gentleman's agreement. By next week, all those things will be resolved, and the anxiety of parents and children will not be there. So thank you very much, and God bless you.
Still on motions adopted last week on the need to upgrade correctional centers in Nigeria, it was considered on Thursday, the 18th of November 2021. The House, in taking a resolution on the motion, has urged the federal government to rehabilitate and upgrade the correctional centers with the latest and sophisticated arms such as GPMG and automatic machine guns, and attach security electric fence wires attached with shocking gadgets and highlight sophisticated CCTV cameras. The House also urged the federal government to take over the payment of electricity bills of the correctional centers in Nigeria, or exempt the centers from paying electricity bills. Also, the Committee on Appropriation has been mandated to include the rehabilitation and upgrade of the correctional centers in the 2022 budget. The minority leader of the House also sponsored a motion in which he called on the House to intervene in the diplomatic row between Nigeria and the United Arab Emirates.
What you now find, Mr. Speaker, is that if you have to go to, for instance, India or Saudi, now passing through, you have to go to Ghana and now be stamped for 14 days to show that you have stayed in Ghana for 14 days before you can be allowed to transit through UAE. Or you go to Kenya or neighboring countries. And these are countries that used to look up to us for their survival. Today, Ghana no longer requires visa to enter UAE. So something must be wrong, Mr. Speaker. And I think that these committees will find solution by finding out what are those, apart from even looking for avenue of ensuring that we resolve the issue of them being able to come in and go out. Why have we gone so low? And our people will have no reason to be afraid that their residency will not be renewed.
That the first time I was discussing with somebody from there, he told me the first robbery they recorded are from Nigerians here, traveling there, in the name for greener pasture. We are the ones who are undoing ourselves by our conduct, by what we go to do. There's no reason why somebody, if you are going for a genuine business, he will deny you entry to come. But when you are coming to corrupt his own system, to spoil his own people, how will he allow you? A video was trending of how some Nigerians were arrested in Ghana. They were arrested for the purpose of or the crime in terms of what the new crime in terms of internet and other fraudsters. And there were numbers, more than 20, 30 arrested in one compound. Somebody issuing visas to people going to Saudi Arabia for some of this crime that is going on through Libya and whatever. You'll be shocked that the people who are given the license are possibly in the religious affairs, and they are the ones who are now carrying innocent Nigerians for either slavery and other bad crimes that is going on. I think we need to call a spade a spade. First, our own conduct, our behavior, and I will urge the National Orientation Committee to also be involved in this matter, because we need to go out to reorient ourselves.
In response to the matter, the House constituted an ad hoc committee of 23 members chaired by Representative Buba Yusuf Yaqub, with the mandate to interface with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Aviation and the National Intelligence Agency (NIA), Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, Immigration Services, Nigeria Diaspora Commission, Treaties and National Orientation on the best ways of resolving the crisis, and report back to the House on the assignment in 4 weeks. Still at plenary in the week under review, the House observed a minute's silence over the passing away of the Vanguard journalist Mr. Todu Salem, who was reported missing a month back and later declared dead Thursday the 13th of November 2021. The Speaker extended the heartfelt condolence of the House to the family of the deceased, the House of Representatives Press Corps, and the Nigerian Union of Journalists (NUJ).
Glad to know you're still tuned to House Ticket. Before the break, in our first segment on the program, we brought you a summary of deliberations at plenary sitting for last week, spanning 16th to 18th November 2021. Other activities during the week saw the Japanese ambassador to Nigeria, Matsunaga Kazuyoshi, on a courtesy visit. This was on Wednesday, 17th November 2021. The objective of the visit, the ambassador said, is to further strengthen bilateral relations with Nigeria. The ambassador therefore reaffirmed Japan's readiness to deepen the 61 years bilateral relations with Nigeria, just as he informed the speaker of the recent steps taken in that direction, including the deployment of information communications technology, ICT, to Nigeria in order to boost the country's economic and commercial activities. And during the COVID-19 pandemic, he said Japan also injected the sum of $3 million for online startups. Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila, in turn, lauded the relationship so far with Japan and promised to further consolidate on the gains through the legislature's Nigeria-Japan Parliamentary Friendship Group. In other developments, a group called the House of Representatives Member Spouse Association, HOMSA, which is made up of the wives of the lawmakers of the 9th House, launched a Project Uplift initiative at the new Kuchingoro camp for the internally displaced persons, IDPs. This was on Thursday, 18th November 2021. This special outing of HOMSA is a program targeted at women to show support for these Nigerians displaced from their homes due to insecurity. The group had on its entourage the wife of the Inspector General of Police, Hajia Hajar Al-Kali Baba, as well as the Police Officers' Wives Association and representatives of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency. The outing provided relief materials and food items such as blankets, rice, oil, personal hygiene items, board games and cards to stimulate mental health and entertainment as well. The wife of the Speaker, House of Representatives, Mrs. Salamatu Gbajabiamila, said the gesture is aimed at encouraging women in specific and impacting on their lives positively, just as the group hopes it will also contribute to the general and psychological well-being of the entire IDP community.
We want to remind our sisters here that they matter to their families, Kuchingoro community, and to the present and future of Nigeria. They are not forgotten. The mission of Project Uplift is to spread love and compassion to women, our sisters, across these communities and remind them of their dignity, role and status in society, in spite of the temporary hardships they face. To achieve this, Project Uplift will visit and distribute relief items to women and children living in IDP camps across the country. These will be accompanied by health and wellness programs on site, essentially a day of rest and relaxation for the women where they can be pampered, have a mobile clinic health check, exercise and fitness, have their hair done, access other basic beauty services, and partake in mini lectures and information on self-care, restoration, and well-being.
Further speaking, Mrs. Gbajabiamila promised that men and children will soon be included in HOMSA program. During the visit, the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, amongst other health personnel, gave a sensitization talk on personal and environmental hygiene, while also advising the women not to indulge in illicit sex in order to avoid sexually transmitted diseases. The health personnel also encouraged the IDPs to avail themselves for vaccination against the COVID-19 virus. Beneficiaries of the items provided expressed their gratitude to the kind gesture.
They plait my head, they plait my pikin head. I thank God.
The program ends here with a question from Council Clerk, Mopamuro Local Government Area of Kogi State, who sent in an SMS through the mobile phone number 0803-399-4092. The question says, what does it imply when the National Assembly moves for a recession and adjourns sine die?
Sine means without. Die means day. What you call die. It means day in Latin word. So Adjourning sine die means we will not come back tomorrow or next tomorrow. Our adjournment is without a definite date. So that is it. Thank you for being interested in the legislature.
Here's hoping the question has been adequately answered. Let us keep those feedbacks coming in through questions, comments, and observations concerning the workings of the legislature, and we'll do our best to get them answered by your representatives. We also urge you to send in videos as well of any project or program in your community through the various constituency outreach programs facilitated by representatives in the House. Do send these feedbacks through the various channels shown on your screen. And if you missed this episode of the program, do catch up through our social media platforms on display. Stay safe and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.